Hey everyone, Miss Larson here to read to you about Robert Boyle. He's known for his law of gases. He was a 17th century pioneer of modern chemistry, and there's a picture of him. As you're reading, you are also welcome to go and click on some of these side articles to know a little bit more about him, but I'm going to read this article to you. Every general chemistry student learns of Robert Boyle, 1627 to 1691, as the person who discovered that the volume of gas decreases with increasing pressure and vice versa. The famous Boyle's Law. A leading scientist and intellectual of his day, he was a great proponent of the experimental method. Born in Lismore Castle in Munster, Ireland, Boyle was the 14th child of the Earl of Cork. As a young man of means, he was tutored at home and on the continent. He spent the later years of the English Civil Wars at Oxford, reading and experimenting with assistants and colleagues. This group was committed to the new philosophy, which was valued observation and experiment at least as much as logical thinking in formulating accurate scientific understanding. At the time of the restoration of the British monarchy in 1660, Boyle played a key role in founding the Royal Society to nurture his view of science. Boyle's Law. Although Boyle's chief scientific interest was chemistry, his first published scientific work, New Experiments in Physico-Mechanical Touching the Spring of Air and Its Effects, 1660, concerned the physical nature of air, as displayed in a brilliant series of experiments in which he used an air pump to create a vacuum. The second edition of this work, published in 1662, delineated the quantitative relationship that Boyle derived from experimental values, later known as Boyle's Law, that the volume of gas varies inversely with pressure. And there's Boyle. What a guy. Corpuscularism and the elements. Boyle was an advocate of corpuscularism, a form of atomism that was slowly displacing Aristotelian and Paracelsian views of the world. Instead of defining physical reality and analyzing change in terms of Aristotelian substance and the form of the classical four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, or the three Paracelsian elements of salt, sulfur, and mercury, corpuscularism discussed reality and change in terms of particles and their motion. Boyle believed that chemical experiments could demonstrate the truth of the corpuscularian philosophy. In this context, he defined elements in Skeptical Chemist in 1661 as a certain primitive or simple or perfectly unmingled bodies which, not being made of any other bodies or of another, are the ingredients of which all those called perfectly mixed bodies are immediately compounded, and into which they are ultimately resolved. So that's what he said elements are. He was probably referring to the uniform corpuscles, which were as yet unobserved, out of which corpuscular aggregates were formed, not using elements in as Antoine Laurent Lavoisier and others used the term in the 18th century to refer to different substances that could not be broken down further by chemical methods. In his experiments, Boyle made many important observations, including that of the weight gained by metals when they are heated to become calxes. He also interpreted this phenomenon as caused by fiery particles that are able to pass through the walls of glass vessels, which in this day and age isn't really true. Here's Boyle again, another picture of him. And finally, we have alchemical interest. Boyle's theories of materials change did nothing to eliminate the possibility of the transmutation of base metals to gold that was at the heart of alchemy. Indeed, he practiced alchemy until the end of his life, which means he was trying to turn other metals into gold. And he believed that he had witnessed transmutation and successfully lobbied Parliament to repeal England's ban on transmutation. Boyle also wrote extensively on natural theology, advocating the notion that God created the universe according to definite laws. This information's from 2017, so you are also welcome to look up more information about Boyle. Here's an article more from him. This is more about alchemists, and you can see up here there are some more materials about Boyle, but I think you can get 5 facts from this one. Thanks for listening.